top of the year coming in with a brand new update, guys. Man, this is so exciting. You know, they're moving pretty quick. I mean, just last month we got the last patch, or the first one that came out for this game. And now here we are a little bit over a month later. We got another patch, and this one is pretty significant. And they have one in here that is pretty consequential to the meta of the game. I gotta say, probably my favorite thing about this patch has to be the new buff that Super Saiyan 4 Goku got. I mean, this kind of puts this guy near the top 10. I mean, if it weren't for him starting with 3 bars of health, I might say he's got a really good argument of getting in the top 10 if he started with 4 bars of health. But I'll beat you in 5 seconds, now charging his ki bars all the way to max and only costing 2 skill count bars really makes this character very dangerous now, because he has not only a great kit with instant transmission, he's got a blast super, he's got a rush super, but now this move just makes him even more dangerous, because now he's getting not only a boost in his rush attack and his ki blast attack and his blasts, but he's getting full ki bars. He's getting them all back. So we know how dangerous Blue Vegito is when he has this move. This move definitely, in my opinion, catapults Super Saiyan 4 Goku up into a very usable tier. A lot of characters, unfortunately, on ranked aren't very usable, but you can for sure use Super Saiyan 4 Goku. If he had the 4 bars, I'm saying, hey, he's definitely one of the top guys, 100%. That's the only thing holding him back. Great character. Definitely my favorite of the new update features. So let's move on to the most consequential part of this update, which was the super counter nerf. And I want to give my thoughts about this, because I know this has been a huge topic in the community since the inception of this game, since people have been going off doing these crazy little super counter wars. This super counter now, the timing is more strict, and how they did it specifically is if you were to incorrectly super counter at the wrong frame, there is a window in which you're unable to attempt another super counter. And so that increased in this update, that little window, which means you can't exactly spam the super counter out. And I gotta say, I don't know if it was the best move to do. And the reason why I say that is because the netcode isn't very strong, and it just changes per game, really. It is not a very strong netcode. There are so many issues with latency and, you know, dropouts and little lag spikes. I just don't know if making a move more frame specific in these conditions is ideal. I don't think so. I think if this were Mortal Kombat or a Tekken or Street Fighter, where the netcode was stronger and it was able to support more frame specific moves with, you know, stricter input, I think this would be the move to make. I think making the super counter as strict as possible is the best move to make. But because the online conditions don't necessarily allow for these frame-specific inputs with strict timing, I think nerfing the super counter should have been done maybe a little bit differently. I think maybe had it consumed ki or something, maybe, you know, even then that's not that great, but I think it is a little bit better than making the window tighter under conditions where there, you know, is lag and, you know, input delay and things like that. I just don't think that was ideal. But in theory, it is great. Like I said, if this were offline, I'm all in. I think it's great. So definitely work on your super counters a little bit more if you're struggling. Honestly, they work the exact same as they used to, so the timing really shouldn't be changing if you're used to super countering like a specific character, for instance. Everything is going to work the exact same. The only difference is, like I said, that little window after you've incorrectly inputted the super counter is now larger, so there is a moment where you're locked out completely from even attempting a super counter. So definitely get in the lab, get busy, get to training, and master the super counter. Next up, the Grand Slash reset, the combo reset people were doing, the super gimmicky. That is not gone completely, but it is definitely toned down a lot. It's not as simple as just sitting there, doing a little combo, tripping, waiting a second, and then coming right back in for another combo, tripping, and resetting that whole sequence. There is still a way to get away with doing that little reset. You have to be a little bit more strict on how long you wait, and you can only follow up with another grand slash, which is that little trip. Instead of waiting, doing a combo, and then doing the slash, you can only come in and do the grand slash. If you want to keep doing that little reset, very gimmicky. There is a way out. It's very obvious. You just vanish, but you can for sure take advantage of that still, but not as easily. So probably outside of the super counter, the most significant nerf in this was to perception and to super perception. This, honestly, I'm going to take back the I'll beat you in 5 seconds with Goku being my favorite buff. I think this is actually one of the better things about this patch, because this enables a little bit more thoughtful play. Now, it's not to say that you can't still kind of get away with spamming perception out and, you know, just sitting there and playing that whole game. You definitely still can, but at least now you have more time to get around the person, either with a short dash or something. And perception now costs keys, so they're actually not just able to sit there and spam it all day, because they are consuming ki when they do this. I would say the absolute best part about this nerf is, oh my god, you can actually combo now when you're doing a rush attack. Like before, if you were to do a rush attack and then a step in, and then if you did a follow-up, there was a window where they can super perception, and it was so crazy, so overpowered, and so OP. You can't do that anymore. That is officially gone. So now you have to play that little 50-50 game. When someone's doing a rush attack, they step in, they either go overhead or they go low. You can't just get out of that 50-50 now with a super perception. You actually got to play that game with the aggressor. So that is 100%. Man, that is so much more smooth now. That is like some classic BT3 stuff. Now, I will say, moving forward, I do think perception needs a little bit more tweaking. Honestly, I think the window should be even longer coming out of that perception animation. I think consuming ki right now as is enough. It's perfect. They don't need to touch that value. I just think there should be a little bit more delay before you're out of that animation completely. So that way, the person who is trying to get around the perception has enough time to short dash and get around and sidestep or whatever and get your back and attack you. Because right now, it is still kind of inconsistent. And look, if we were to go back to the BT3 days, the way around perception was to smash attack and then it's over. They couldn't do anything. But because you have super perception, the most effective way, if you're not using like a charged ki blast, is to short dash around or sidestepping at the rear of the opponent and attack from a different angle. You don't always have enough time to do that, because the delay between a perception and then going back into a normal state is still a little too short. I think it should just be a little bit longer, so that way it's a little bit more consistent, that if someone were to see that you're going to use perception, they would have enough time to sidestep, get around, and get you. I think outside of that, perfect. Great nerf. I like the fact that it takes ki, and I think it takes the appropriate amount of ki. That would be my only thing, and then I'm done with perception. I don't think perception needs to be touched anymore. Some of the wrapping this up, last things they touched, some of the skill adjustments. Kaioken on Goku early now takes 2 bars skill count, pretty good buff. Also, Wild Sense got hit a little bit. There's a damage reduction off of the Wild Sense counter when you activate the Wild Sense and then they kick you up in the air. That damage has been reduced. Another thing that they touched is the fact that you can't Wild Sense in between rush attacks. So if someone were to do a rush attack sequence and step in, before in the past you're able to actually Wild Sense and then get out of that next follow-up. Can't do that anymore. That was a great nerf as well. I will say, moving forward, the only thing I would like to see outside of that little perception thing, if they were to make that window a little bit larger, is if they were to nerf the damage, I think, off the pursuit attacks in those Vanish Wars. So when you win the Vanish War and you go into a pursuit attack and you start launching people around, the ping pong thing, man, that damage, like, it is ridiculous. That's the only thing I would like to see them really kind of tone down a little bit in the future update. But man, so far so good. I think the mechanics of the game are all shaping up and looking nice and crispy. This game, I saw on the Steam charts, because I know everyone looks at the Steam charts to see the player base. Player base jumped up significantly when this patch came out with Beast Gohan, who, by the way, is super sick. Definitely one of the top dogs right now in the game. But this game is looking nice, guys, and I honestly am super excited for the future of this game. So much more DLC is on the way. So many different little tweaks and the mechanics are on the way. Bandai Namco is doing an incredible job with this game. Like, truly, I'm over the moon about it. Like, for real. So much love and so much heart is being poured into this game, and so much time and dedication. So definitely a huge shout out to Bandai Namco for that. Like 100%. I love y'all for really taking care of this game, because there was a moment in time like a couple months ago where I was worried. I was like, man, I don't know what's gonna happen with Sparking Zero. Like, people are leaving the game and there's some gameplay bugs and things like that, and we had like holes in the mechanics. But now it is looking mighty crispy and like a real game and a true successor to Budokai Tenkaichi 3. So I'm very happy with that. Definitely tap in with me again, y'all. I appreciate y'all coming here for this video, but I got some more stuff coming up on the way for sure. So if you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and a comment. Please comment, because I want to know honestly your thoughts about this patch. I want to know what you guys think about the super counter getting nerfed, reception getting nerfed, you know, some of these little buffs like Super Saiyan 4 Goku getting buffed with that skill move. Man, there is so many nice little things about this patch, and a lot of little nuggets in there. So I want to know what y'all think about them for sure. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. Take care.